Hi, Mom. So I got my ticket home from Europe. I get back on June 6th, but it's a really late flight because that was the cheapest, so it gets in at midnight. But don't worry, I'll get a shuttle from the airport so you don't have to pick me up. Like, really, seriously, you don't have to. Okay, so love you. See you soon. Bye.
Katie, I'm sorry I can't be there to see you, but it is impossible. Please, please don't go digging around trying to find out where I am. I don't want Mom and Dad, scratched out, anyone to know. We'll see each other again someday. Don't be worried. I love you, Sam. Full spring Hoover is pink. Invoice for moving.
Dear Katie, so much has changed, even just since you've been away. We moved into this house. I'm in a new school, and my big sister being gone for a year doesn't make it any easier. It doesn't feel real, but I'm not gonna let it faze me. I used to tell you everything, and if I can't do it in person, because you're off gallivanting around who knows where, I'll tell it to this journal, just like I was talking to you.
Directories to work from new home. Directions to work from new home. Regional track and field finals, April 21st, 1990. Girls 100-meter relay, first place. To various people and us. Caitlin Greenbrier. Regional track and field finals, girls long jump event, Caitlin Greenbrier, first place. Author Magazine, Stephen King's typewriter. No mirror in this bathroom, eh? Worldwide timetable. Katie's departure, and then various flights. Sam, Daniel from the old neighborhood called. He wants to come see the new house. Call him back. Mom, Daniel's a total weirdo. The only reason I ever hang out with him in the first place is he had a Nintendo when we were little.
Sam. Sam. Hello. Sam. Sam, where are you? Really? I need to talk to you. Please be there.
Hi, Mom. So I got my ticket home from Europe. I get back on June 6th, but it's a really late flight because that was the cheapest, so it gets in at midnight. But don't worry, I'll get a shuttle from the airport so you don't have to pick me up. Like, really seriously, you don't have to. Okay, so love you. See you soon. Bye.
Family portrait. Sam, Katie, Mom and Dad, Jan and Terry. Mom. This is Mom, Dad, Sam, and Katie, who is us. My boarding pass back from my year in Europe. Back in August 2nd, 94. Hi, Mom, Dad, and Sam. I'm in Paris. I've done many Parisian things, including eating le petit déjeuner and wearing a beret. I'm going to have lots of film to develop when I get back. Sam, I'm bringing you back something from the Shakespeare Book Company since you are my favorite sister. Love you all, Katie. With a marking of weird to the new address. A woman who is neither Sam nor Katie in a military uniform. Obituaries. Oscar Doc Mason. Oscar Mason, 60, of Boone County, died peacefully last month in his home. Mr. Mason was born on September 8, 1933 in the house that would be in his home for the rest of his life. He attained his degree in pharmacy at a young age and returned to Boone County to practice. He quickly became a well-loved figure at the center of the community. In the decades preceding his passing, he was seldom seen outside his home. A service will be held this Sunday at the First Methodist Church at 1 p.m. All are welcome. His survivors include his nephew, Terrence Greenbrier, as well as in spirit the people of Boone County to whom he provided wellness and comfort. So Greenbrier is our last name as well, so presumably we have inherited this old house from this gentleman here, and that's why we've moved addresses. Welcome, new student. We hope that you're as excited about your first day at Goodfellow High School as we are. Please be sure to bring the following with you on your first day of classes so that you can get right into the swing of things. One sturdy folder with pockets for each of your 6 class periods, one lined notebook per period or one large notebook with 6 divided sections, at least 6 pens, blue or black ink, and 6 pencils, one box of colored pencils, a standard combination lock for your assigned locker, a nutritious lunch or $2.50 for a lunch provided by the school cafeteria, a positive attitude. Please remember to get plenty of sleep the night before and be ready for the first bell to ring at 8 a.m. See you soon, and again, welcome. Beth Valence, Principal.
Oh my god. You are so lucky you finished high school before we moved into this house. So, it's the first day of school, and there I am, introducing myself to the class. And I say that I just moved into the house on Arbor Hill. All of a sudden, every kid in the room turns and just stares like I suddenly transformed into a mutant. I just stood there, wishing pretty hard for a rewind button. Because now maybe nobody knows my name, but they all know who I am. The Psycho House girl. Great.
Presumably a classroom note from another girl to Sam. You can do better. John Russell opened his eyes and saw them, the stars, twinkling as if he were lying on the grass in his family's yard in Massachusetts, even though that place was a million miles away. No, he blinked the sleep from his eyes, looking through the carbon-reinforced safety glass of the space station Archimedes. Yes, he was a long way away from home, but the future needed him. John Russell's head swam. He felt incredibly drunk despite not having touched a drop in hours. He vomited onto his feet, his bare feet. He stared for a moment, processing his sick, flecked toenails, scanning up his bare shins, bare knees. He was completely naked. He looked up and met the eyes of a gorgeous blonde woman wearing a tight polymer fiber tunic. Then, the fabric that strained at the seams to contain her generous bosom was emblazoned with the phrase, "Matter Transference Operator." Then he passed out. John Russell had crossed the gap in time. Only messages has passed Buffer, but now am man. They needed him, now more than ever. Changing the past was no longer good enough. The instructions from the council had been clear: what to procure, what to construct from it, how to assemble it. So he made the machine, how to transport him bodily across time. And now he stood there on the bridge of the starship Archimedes, commandant of the vessel, because only he, who had saved the Predesnet's life twice before, he could helm the nave crew to their destiny, the fate of the galaxy. So, I've never written with a typewriter before, so maybe that amount of typos is common, but if that's not the case, then this tells me he's writing this either drunk or tired. Pioneer sealed the combination laserdisc compass disc player, blah, blah, blah. They say that a jack of all trades is a master of none. I have to disagree. Mastery is not a question of specialization, but sureness of purpose and dedication to craft. If you happen to be in the market for a combination LD-CD player, you'll be glad to know that Pioneer seems to share this particular... So, we've got science fiction novel stuff thrown away, and then instructional marketing buzzwords in the typewriter. Early spaceflight utopia, adventure, technology, and World War II early time stream, 2 different. JFK president, USA, USSR equals coalition, Chinese, Japanese, Lebanese. What if JFK wasn't JFK? Paradox result in JFK death being desired outcome? Book Back to Basics. Sent back in time to Dallas, 1963 again. Benjamin Allman, The Killing of JFK, a Theory. You've seen the movie, Discover the Truth. Benjamin Allman is not the name of our father. A superb work of speculation plotted with amazing skill and showing a level of magnetic artistry not usually present in such academic pieces. A thrilling theory. I couldn't put his book down. And important to look at the circumstances surrounding one of the greatest tragedies of our time. And there's a hidden bottle. Indeed. Getting drunk on the old... So father is apparently a failed fiction writer. Electrical inspection form, Terrence Greenbrier. Does the entire electrical system meet local codes? Yes. Are there any deficiencies which need correcting? Unclear. If yes, describe in detail. Wiring in-house is technically up to safety and amperage requirements. However, multiple layers of wiring have been added into structure over the last 100 years. System is frequently unpredictable. Lights blink out for no clear reason. Pressure on floorboards and door frame disrupts circuits wired directly behind the surface. Properly reworking the electrical system would be highly destructive to the walls, floor, and fixtures of the structure. After a discussion with Mr. Greenbrier, since there are no current safety concerns, issues will not be addressed. Let's try 1963. No. What are some other dates in the room? Grab Dad's second book, The Accidental Pariah. A message from our future saved the president's life once, but within the next 24 hours there will be another attempt and the lines of communication are down. A James Bond for today's audience. Compelling, a thriller worth its salt. And there is a box of unsold books hiding a Playboy, is what it looks like. Stranger Under My Roof, the #1 best-selling advice book for parents of teens. The teen years are fraught with change of all types, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. But these changes don't just affect your teen. Your teen's turbulent years are a challenge for parents as well. Maybe the biggest challenge you face is having children. This book holds insights into your teen's behavior from the very beginning as he or she first enters adolescence up through the end of the teen years as he or she enters young adulthood. The practical strategies here are based upon well-tested principles of pediatric psychology presented by Dr. Elisa Medina, herself a mother of 2 teenagers. Prepare to gain new tools for establishing a productive, healthy, and loving dialogue with the stranger under your roof. Dear Terrence, David asked me to write you regarding the reviews you've been submitting the last few months. Frankly, they're becoming more trouble than they're worth from an editing standpoint. There's a word limit. It's your job to stay under it, not mine to cut back to it. Even then, it's becoming harder and harder to weed out the tangents and non sequiturs from the usable copy without heavy rewrites. The readers of Home Theater Aficionado want to hear about the quality and value of the hardware, not ruminations on your childhood. If it were up to me, I wouldn't be writing this letter. I'd just be cutting you loose. There's tons of guys half your age who would take half your rate to write stuff I could actually use. But David's known you for a long time and he's the boss, so I'm giving you one more shot on his say-so. You should write him a nice note thanking him for his patience and generosity. Look through your old stuff and start submitting reviews like that again. Then everybody will be happy. So yeah. 0451. Failed fiction writer, now writes reviews of home theater equipment, and is inserting his desire to write fiction into his review work. Oh, I can zoom in. What do these notes say? Not much. 0451. Dear Mr. Mason, and this is from an attorney's suite, please find enclosed your original document and a typed copy of your records. The notarized copy has been filed at our offices. Thank you for entrusting our firm with this important matter. 1. Oscar Mason so it's a will and testament. Oscar Mason, possessing full competence of mind and memory, and after full survey of valued items to my name, do hereby declare this document, my last will and testament. The following shall hold true upon my passing. 1. I declare that I am a lifelong resident of Boone County, that I am unmarried and have no children. 2. I declare that I have no outstanding debts to my name to any creditors, living or dead. 3. I do hereby bequeath every item of value of which I may die possessed, including the dwelling and surrounding acres located at Arbor Hill, as well as any and all personal property and moneyed accounts to my nephew, Terrence L. Greenbrier, Jr. of Ellis County. In the event that said Terrence L. Greenbrier, Jr. should predecease me, then and in such event, the bequest to him shall fall, and the same is bequeathed to his children as ordered by age and competence as stewards of the estate. I subscribe my name to this will this 13th day of August, 1973, signed Oscar Mason. Okay. Terry, hey, from 1978. Terry, hey man, how have you been? I know you're a published author and everything now, but my editor at Hi-Fi Aficionado has too much review. Hang on, I'm gonna turn this off. Hey man, how have you been? I know you're a published author and everything now, but my editor at Hi-Fi Aficionado has too much review work to go around, and he's looking for another freelancer. Naturally, I thought of you. You were saying in your last letter how much of a pain it's been trying to find a publisher for your latest work or literature, and writing stereo reviews is dead simple. Sit at home with a glass of scotch, listen to some records, and write up how it sounds, and then get paid. I've included some issues of the mag to use as examples. If you're interested, send some samples to my editor and tell him your old college something Mike sent you. Here's the address. Do it. It's that book Dad wrote, The Accidental Savior.
This is a severe weather warning.
John Russell knows that the president's life hangs in the balance, but who would believe him?
Rain conditions affecting the following counties: Austin County, Boone County, Dawn County, Takelma County, and Wistaria County. Residents are strongly urged to stay indoors and secure all windows and doors. Flood conditions are expected at lower
Beetlejuice,
elevations.
Airplane, The Andromeda Strain, Blade Runner Director's Cut, JFK, X-Files Season 1, different episodes. Pilot. Time Machine, Clue, Fantastic Voyage, Top Gun. Oh, there's multiple movies on the same tape.
High winds and torrential rain conditions.
RoboCop, Moonraker.
Austin County, Boone County, Dawn County, Tacoma County.
Clash of the Titans.
Residents are strongly urged to stay indoors and secure all windows and doors. Flood conditions are expected at lower elevations.
Making friends even when Sam thought this might help Dad. Feeling lonely? It's a piece of cake to make friends. Never worry again about having friends to spend time with. This book will teach you to make friends even when you're shy.
This is a severe weather warning. The Northwest...
You know that feeling where the first moment you see someone, it's like they have a big gold star around them, and you have to get to know them? Well, there's this girl. I think she's a senior. She's usually dressed kind of punk. But sometimes I see her in this, like, army uniform, and she's always drawing in this notebook, looking so intense. I had no idea how I would ever, like, have an excuse to talk to her. Till I noticed she and her friends hang out and play Street Fighter at the 7-Eleven every day after school.
This is a severe weather warning. The Northwest Weather Service reports high winds and torrential rain conditions affecting the following counties: Austin County, Boone County, Dawn County, Tacoma County, and Wistaria County. Residents are strongly urged to stay indoors and secure all windows and doors. Flood conditions are expected at lower elevations.
Hi Terry, enclosed please find a Pioneer CLDD 703 unit with remote and cables. We need a half-page review for the October issue, so that gives you about 2 weeks to get us the copy for edit. Standard stuff like you gave us on the CLDD 502. It's a combi player, so check its CD playback with a few discs as well as Laserdisc, and they want us to definitely hit the signal-to-noise ratio and toast link stuff for high-end buyers. Looking forward to your take on it. Enjoy the unit.
Rain conditions affecting the following counties: Austin County, Boone County, Dawn County, Tacoma County.
The Heaven at the Edge of the World, Samantha Greenbrier, Grade 2. Story, The Turtle People, Part 1. Captain Allegra looked off at the ocean and went on forever, so it seemed someday she would find the edge and get to the paradise there. Then she heard a cannon fire. Boom! It was the Black Pirate ship. She yelled, "I thought we lost the house at Horse Island." The first mate said, "Looks like you thought too soon." The black ship came up along the side. Captain Black himself came out on the deck of the black ship. He yelled to Captain Allegra, "You never gonna find the edge. There ain't no paradise, and your father were a liar." Captain Allegra yelled back, "Then why do you keep following us, you imbecile?" The first mate yelled out, "We'll stop you, Captain Black. We'll find the edge of the world, and you'll see your father was no liar." The battle kept going until Captain Allegra's ship got away. "Now west," she said, and the ship sailed towards the sunset. Honestly, better written than the father's work in the typewriter. U.S. National Forestry Manual. Procedures and precautions for burnings. Dear Mr. Greenbrier, I write to inform you that, unfortunately, Mercury Books will be unable to publish your follow-up to The Accidental Pariah. Despite the low sales of The Accidental Savior, we went ahead with publication of the second book in hopes of the John Russell series catching on. However, sales of the second book have in fact been lower than those of the first, and so our stewardship of the series must end here. It has been a pleasure working as your publisher, and we wish you and John Russell the best in your future endeavors. And that was all the way back in 1976, so it's been a while.
Somehow I always knew that someday
World history.
we'd be through. Now that it's happened,
Reproductive system worksheet, Samantha Greenbrier. Floor 2 stories. The events are all out of order. Get a sheet of lined
I've done
paper,
the best I
write
could.
reproductive system
Keep
worksheet
from
number 6 at the top, then choose one of the 2 stories, A or B, and rewrite it. Begin with the title and your
Can't get
name,
you off my
blah, blah, blah,
mind.
blah. Menstrual cycle,
My God.
description of
Mildew and shandu.
testicular and menstrual biology.
I'm right here looking at you, honey. If it ain't me, it's my shadow.
Do you think I sent you
The menstrual
far
cycle, a
away
novella.
Nowhere.
from me?
The early morning of September 1st, 1939.
You say
Essa Gletz stares at the window of the train as it travels from Vienna back to her home village of Willem in Poland.
all around.
As the train rumbles along and the sun rises over the countryside, she can only think of her dear Borislav, the boy she is engaged to wed. Meanwhile, deep within her guts, an ovum starts to develop. As the train approaches its destination, her heart races, the lining of the uterus is getting thick and soft.
Yeah.
As Essa steps off the train, her eyes dart quickly across the gathered crowd. Then, there, her dear Boris. Still in his baker's smock, he must have dropped something, his early morning duties at his father's shop to come meet her. Her heart skips a beat. The ovary releases the ovum. It travels through the fallopian tube. Over the wheezing or weeping of the steam engines, a deep hum grows. It's coming from the sky. Dark shadows pass over the station, a whistling sound. Essa, her thoughts only a second faster than the bombs, reaches out toward her dear Boris across the crowd. Their eyes lock and the moment freezes. The flash and smoke envelops him almost instantly. In the assault by German forces, almost 75% of the people in her hometown are killed. The rest, including Essa and, for a time, Borislav, huddle in a half-destroyed church. He is blind. His legs are missing, bandaged with torn bedsheets. Essa's egg will not be meeting a sperm. It dissolves. About 2 weeks later, Boris loses his grip on life. Essa has given up her rations to keep Boris alive, but in the end, nothing can save him. Since the lining of the uterus is not needed for a pregnancy, it comes out through the vagina. Essa vows to survive. She sets off to join the Polish resistance as a daring spy and saboteur. Another ovum starts to develop in one of the ovaries, and the process begins again. It is incredible how the female body knows how to prepare for pregnancy.
Oh, tell me why.
See me.
Can I be happy?
Well, I thought it was good. Samantha, please give this to your nephew? Mother. Please give this to your mother. I'm sorry, I can't read cursive very well.
When you live in one place your whole life, your next door neighbor is kind of like your default friend. And Daniel only got weirder over the years. So moving away has been a good excuse to, not see him anymore. But he did always have the good Nintendo games. Maybe I'll give him a call.
Katie, please tell Mom and Dad sorry about the stuff that's missing. Hi, Lonnie. So if you wanted to come over to my house this afternoon, that would be cool. I can drive. It's kind of far, but I can drive you home too, so hopefully that's fine. Right back and leave this in my locker if you still want to, and we can meet in the parking lot after 6th. Yeah, I'm totally in. See you there. Then I'm going to kick your butt. Get ready. Hadouken!
So you know what they say about the best laid plans of mice and men? Yeah, turns out it applies to Street Fighter too. At least I worked up the courage to walk into the 7-Eleven and ask for a turn, but all that practice at home did not exactly translate in the wild. So after I was finished getting my butt kicked, I followed them outside while they smoked. And that was when she asked me if I was that psycho house girl. But then she said she's always really wanted to see the psycho house. Her name is Lonnie. She's coming over tomorrow.
Katie, please, whatever you've found, don't tell Mom and Dad. The attic. Controlled burn scheduled for Bloom County. Plumes of smoke will rise above the northeastern region of Bloom County over the better part of next week as part of a Forestry Service-run controlled burn of overgrown sections of the Flintlock National Forest. Blah, 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 blah. Smoke will likely linger in the area through the following week. Weekly planner. Notice of temporary personnel transfer. To aid in the upcoming prescribed burn operation, a ranger with expertise in the procedure is being transferred to the station at Flintlock National Forest effective, blah. Please see attached personnel file. The overseeing officer at Flintlock Forestry Station, Senior Conservationist Janice Greenbrier, is charged with the supervision of transferred personnel. The duration of transfer will be based upon performance evaluation as well as the recommendation of the overseeing officer. Where was that cassette player?
It's weird hanging out with girls. Daniel was around ever since I was little, and other girls? I don't know. But being around Lonnie is like instantly just right. I gave her the grand Psycho House tour and took my revenge on Super Nintendo. And it was like, I don't know, I finally found someone I feel normal around. I drove her home and she gave me this tape and said, "You have got to listen to this." I haven't stopped playing it since.
To whom it may concern, I, Samantha Greenbrier, am 17 years old and am therefore an independent, fully functional human being. The fact that you still forbid me from going into the city on my own is frankly absurd. Compare with Katie, who is only 3 years older than me, and yet you allowed her to go all the way across an ocean to another continent on her own. I just want to spend an evening in a normal, totally safe city on my own like a human being, and since you may also remember that I have my own car now, you can't really stop me. Warmest regards, your daughter, Samantha. Sam, stop leaving every damn light in the house on. You're as bad as your sister. Called out. Player called out. Daniel called again. He wants his Nintendo game back. Sam's room? Yeah. Never listen to that again. Gee, I wonder what it could be. The King's Labyrinth, Chapter 2, Fraying Threads. Captain Allegra, still in her flowing... Remember, still doing Captain Allegra, eh? Captain Allegra, still in her flowing skirt and sturdy jerkin, descended the single shining thread into the lower cavern of the labyrinth. She and the first mate, on their own now, grew a little closer to their goal, the throne room of the dead immortal king of the island. The first mate slid down the line onto the stone floor. She swept chalky bone dust from the front of her canvas trousers and looked up at Allegra. The silken thread, nigh unbreakable thanks to the enchanted moths that inhabited the island, trailed behind, leading their way back to the entrance. From further into the labyrinth, a moaning began to echo. The moaning grew louder and clearer. It turned into words from some ancient language they could not understand. The king's cursed voice. The hairs on Captain Allegra's arms stood on end. She looked back at the first mate, whose eyes remained locked on the blackness of the passage for a moment too long before noticing the captain's gaze. The first mate nodded silently ahead. Following the king's ghostly song deeper and deeper into the labyrinth, they came upon a rocky gap spilling forth otherworldly blue light. The great basin of the dead king's throne room lay below. Skeletal in rotted robes, the king was hunched over the blue orb topping his royal scepter. Shadows of his bony fingers danced on the walls like ghouls. As he sang, wailing souls flowed in one by one through the cracks in the cave walls, pulled into the orb, causing it to glow brighter and brighter behind the king. A long staircase hewn from rock led down into the chamber from a passage at the top. Allegra said, "We have the advantage in numbers. I will draw his attention, and then you..." But the first mate interrupted. "No, I am smaller and quicker, and you know of dealing with mystic energies like these. I will circle to the other side, get the king's attention, and lead him on a merry chase." She held up the silk line. "All traced by this invincible thread, of course." Allegra said, "It is a good plan, but perhaps we should go together." The first mate shook her head. "You know this is our best chance. Don't be afraid for me." They grasped hands and exchanged 3 tight squeezes, their palms growing warm. The first mate tied the shining thread to the belt of her trousers, gave a quick salute and a wink, and dashed off. Allegra waited, staring vigilantly across the top of the stairs where the first mate was to appear. The king continued his, "Wait, no, no." The singing stopped. The king turned and began walking up the stairs. Allegra wanted to call out, to do anything to stop the first mate from running headfirst into danger. She tried tugging on the line to signal her. No use. The king was nearly at the top of the stairs when the first mate burst through the passageway. She skidded to a stop. Even from across the yawning basin, Allegra could see the first mate's eyes grow wide. She turned and ran. Summoning his undead power, the king left the ground, levitating, gliding behind her with distressing speed. From some dank passage much too far away, Allegra heard the first mate scream. She was already running toward the sound. The line in Allegra's hand went taut, then shuddered. It fell slack to the stone floor. As Allegra ran, she was gathering line. Twisting it around her arm, she came to its end. The unbreakable thread dangled limply, its end shredded and frayed in her hand. She tossed it to the ground and ran. So, college brochure, or pre-college program. English creative writing. 3 students from each track will be offered a full scholarship for their first year at Reed. Frankenstein, Metamorphosis, The Scarlet Pimpernel, War of the Worlds, The Master of Ballantrae, Call of the Wild, The Virginian, etc., etc. Goodfellow High School disciplinary referral. Mr. Benchley observed Miss DeSoto, so not Sam, wearing a t-shirt with an unacceptable image on the front, a large beer can labeled Pabst Blue Ribbon. Miss DeSoto was sent to the guidance counselor's office. Miss DeSoto was given the option to turn her shirt inside out, change into a shirt from her gym locker, or be suspended for the rest of the day. Miss DeSoto chose suspension. Her father was called, but there was no answer and no answering machine. Miss DeSoto must return this form tomorrow, signed by her father. But we have it. And it was signed by her, but never the parent. Groove, exclusive, AIDS in Africa, Soul Asylum Live, Eddie Vedder, Weezer. Motorcycle brochure. Who leaves just a fork next to their bed? Samantha Greenbrier, Year 11, Teacher Fletcher, Grade C-. Notes, not a challenging assignment. Metal plaque for family portrait, reasonable subject, but not complex. When I said that mom and dad should be replaced with parents' names, I did not mean just add them underneath. Acceptable leveling on edges, show more pride in work. Hey Sam, do you want to see Pulp Fiction after school at the Coliseum? It came out last weekend and Todd won't shut up about it, so either it's good or we can make fun of him for liking it. My mom is supposed to cook dinner for us tonight for a change, but I can just ditch out on it probably. What time? Also, isn't that movie supposed to be really violent? Am I going to barf? According to Todd, it is pretty hardcore. I guess Uma Thurman gets stabbed in the heart with a heroin needle, so that's kind of hilarious. Also, something about cheeseburgers is important. Todd wants to see it again. 7:15, okay, don't barf. Haha, alright, see you then, barf. Getting stabbed with a heroin needle is the least of the incredibly violent things that happens in Pulp Fiction. So, while the bed area is generally unkempt, this looks like everything's been tossed pretty hard. Like drawers even pulled out of the desk. Do not know what the combination of this locker would be. I haven't found anything around the room. Unless it's literally just 119. No, it can't be that. Didn't think so. I don't think I've missed anything.
Lonnie brought her hair dye over today. She said, I need to fix these roots. Think you could help? Dyeing hair is weirdly intimate. I don't know if I've touched someone else's scalp before. That's pretty intimate, right? It felt intimate. We looked in the mirror together after, and I expected her to say something about how it looked crappy or good or whatever. But that's when she said, "You're so beautiful." And she was looking at me. Right in that moment, I wanted to say something, but I waited, and the moment was gone.
All these drawers pulled out as well. Mom's purse here, mom not here. Dear Mom, Dad, and Sam, I am in the channel. This is my second passage through the canal channel. I'm on my way back from London this time, going to Brussels, Belgium. Sorry I didn't write you on the way to London, but I was too excited about the channel. London was great, Dad. I know you've always wanted to visit, and I think you really should. You'd love it. If you all wanted to come back here as a family sometime, I guess I could be convinced. Love you all, Katie. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, The Fugitive, All the President's Men. Various other movies. After the honeymoon, rediscovering your spouse personally, spiritually, sexually. It may seem inevitable that the spark you and your spouse shared on your honeymoon should fade over time, but it doesn't have to be. Reverend Alexander Michaels will show you how to rekindle the fire you once had. Part 1 provides simple steps to reopen the lines of communication between you and your spouse, allowing you to face the problems you share as partners instead of rivals. Part 2 leverages the Reverend's decades of service to God, helping you connect with a higher power. You'll draw strength from a spirituality you may not even know you have. Part 3 offers a number of fresh and exciting ideas for the bedroom, including a few things that may surprise you. The reserves of passion for your spouse run deep. You just have to know where to look. Reverend Michaels will show you the way. Katie, Mom and Dad were going to make up the guest room for you to stay in over the summer, but you came home on such short notice that they weren't around to do it. You can use my room if you want. I won't be needing it anymore. Composition book. Sightings journal, talking about ghost stuff in the house. So Sam and Lonnie were looking for ghosts. Maybe not seriously, though. Hey, Sam, you were asking what my with my something ribbons meant. Here is a handy guide. Orienteering, this means the Army thinks I can find my way around. Rifle team, the Army has branded me as a certified killing machine. Adventure training, I am a burn adventuress and no borders can hold me. The Army recognizes this. So if you didn't think I was cool before, now you do, Lonnie. We'll go there last. Another cassette. Oh, there's a player. What was the evaluation by the mom towards the new transfer person? Ranger Patermock, exemplary in all categories. Ranger Patermock has been indispensable during the course of the prescribed burn preparation and execution. I believe his expertise and dedication has been the deciding factor in the success of a very complex and challenging conservation effort. In the opinion of the Flintlock Forest staff, Rick's contributions to daily operations have become essential to the outfit's continuing success. To this end, I will be formally submitting paperwork requesting his permanent reassignment to this facility. Halloween show, The Misfits, see you there. L.
Sometimes you just have to lie to Mom and Dad. Like when Lonnie asked me to see a band with her and stay over at her friend's place in the city after. That's a lie to Mom and Dad's situation. But it was so worth it. The girls on stage were just so loud and real and awesome. And everybody was moving together like one huge tide of sound. Between two songs, Lonnie leaned over and said, "How do you like your first show?" I was so happy. I felt tears starting in my eyes. And then she up and hugged me. I think she could tell.
Wildfire. He saved her from the raging flames, and then things really heated up. Lonnie, holy crap, I was in the library and I noticed something in the corner and I found a secret passage and it had Oscar's creepy old stuff in it. Oh my god, I have to see this. We're skipping 6th. It is from Mom and Dad's room's closet. Has a secret passageway. Okay. Captain Allegra and the First Mate. Your costume? Sam. My costume, Lonnie. Sam's dark room. Do not enter if red lights are on. Alright, we'll come back to this. So there's a secret passage in here. Open panel. Ghost Hunter Sam and Lonnie's secret house investigation log. Hidden compartments found. Library, upstairs hall, foyer. So there's one in the library, then there's another one in the connecting room to the library. And then there's another one next to my room, so that's Sam's room. So this is the library. And there's also one in the foyer, right? Oh, and Dad's office. this is the dad's office, right? So it's right next to it on the outside. So it is... over here somewhere. Private do not read. Heaven at the Edge of the World. The Green Glacier Part 2. Samantha Greenbrier. Allegra and her scouting party peered down warily through the dense canopy of rustling leaves from their perch high in the forest branches. Mere feet away, sunlight shone brightly off the inner ice walls of the glacial basin in which the forest grew. It was a strange sight indeed, such lushness juxtaposed with the frigid ice formations. Allegra leapt forward without hesitation, bounding through the high branches. The first mate had been captured by the Green Glacier's Amazonian tribe. His life hung in the balance. We have to hurry, Allegra's party followed behind, moving quietly as a breeze through the greenery. Allegra landed in the clearing and shouted, "Stop!" She saw the Queen Amazonian up on her pedestal, reaching for the lever that would drop her first mate into the vat below. She shouted, "No!" and flung her saber at the Amazon's reaching hand, but it was too late. The first mate screamed as he fell toward the water, then splashed down, and all was eerily silent. Allegra looked on, frozen in fear and remorse. She had been a moment too late. But then, from the vat, something began to emerge, a head of dark brown hair, just like the first mate's, then the shoulders and sleeves of his coat, soaking wet. But as the figure stood and the water poured down, Allegra saw that the first mate had changed. He was no longer a man at all. In fact, what looked back at her were the eyes, the face, the hair, and hands and body of a woman, still in the first mate's clothes, still the first mate. She spoke in a soft, clear voice. "Captain?" The Amazonian queen said, "She is one of us now. She is ours." Allegra drew her magical flintlock pistols from her belt, and her crew readied their swords. Allegra glared into the queen's eyes and said, "That's the love of my life, and you can't have her." That's that one. There's also one over here. So it's in the library room. Should be one of these panels. Yeah, there we go. The Misfits.
At Todd's brother's place after the show, there was only a futon to sleep on, so Lonnie and I shared it. The lights went out. I was turned toward her. My eyes started to adjust, and then I could see she was looking at me, too. In the dark, she smiled. My heart was beating so fast. I rolled over. I felt so, I don't know, nervous. After a minute, she put her arm around me and was so close and whispered in my ear, "I really like you." I just nodded my head, and I really hope she could tell. I really hope that she meant what I think she did. I felt like a shook-up can of soda ever since. I hope we have the chance to talk before I explode.
Hello? Hello, who are you? Oscar, what do you want? To combat. $0.51. To open, turn right 3 times. First number. Right. Turn first number right 3 times. Stop at. Turn left 1 number to stop. Full turn passing. Turn right 2nd number. Full shackle. So 0, then right 3 times 50. 0, right 3 times, 50, left once, zero, right 3 times, 5, then turn left once. Then turn right and stop at the second number, and then pull shackle, stop at the third number. So, oh, but I can't turn this at all, so it's just 050. 1, right? Yeah. Lonnie 94 with red hair. Basement key.
Lonnie came over today.
Cigarettes.
But everything was different. She was sitting at my desk chair, and she wouldn't look at me. Finally, I asked her what was going on. She said she felt like she'd done something wrong that night in the city. Like I must think... But I said no. There was nothing wrong. I just wanted to say... But I couldn't find the words. I felt like I was gonna cry, but I wasn't sad. She got up and sat next to me on the bed. I looked at her. Lonnie, do you think you could ever... And that's when she kissed me.
There were 2 locked doors. One's the right door in the foyer, and there was one other one. This one. Dear Samantha, I would like to cordially thank you for having me to your abode for the Thanksgiving holiday with your lovely family. I enjoyed the flavorful potatoes, and also it was weird being around your parents for that long, but it was pretty funny how impossible it is for your dad not to be awkward for more than 30 seconds at a time. Very cordially yours, your close friend and confidant, Lonnie D. Dear Miss DeSoto, allow me to take this opportunity to thank you in kind for being such a gracious host of the festivities at your father's estate following the aforementioned meal with my parents. Your family's Thanksgiving feast was the more enjoyable of the 2 events, I must say. I especially appreciated the time I spent with your grandmother, who is a lovely woman with sterling taste and a refined air. Let's do it again sometime next year, shall we? Indeed, Madam Samantha Greenbrier, Esquire.
It's different now. I mean, we still hang out all the time like before. But now when no one else is around... Well, you know. So you could say we're dating. But it's secret. Secret dating? I don't know. I mean, I guess that's the real difference. Now when we get off the phone, or go home for the night, or it's just quiet and we're alone, we say I love you.
Reproductive System Worksheet 6. Is this the... Yeah, the menstrual... Oh, it's Caitlin's submission for it, though. And this one's just very straightforward. Reed College, Samantha Greenbrier. Dear Samantha, congratulations. I'm pleased to inform you of your admission to the creative writing track of the Reed College Summer Program for Young Scholars for its 1995 session. We believe you have much to contribute to Reed College community. Based on your portfolio and academic record, I'm pleased to offer you financial aid to cover 75% of the summer program's tuition and fees The attached documentation delineates your schedule, blah, blah, blah. Please remember, blah, blah, blah. Again, congratulations on admission.
I'm so stupid sometimes. I was telling Lonnie that I got into my college summer program thing, and I was all making plans like, you should come visit me, stay in my dorm room. But she said, Sam, I ship out on June 6th. I was like, ship out? To where? She said, to basic training. What did you think I was doing all that ROTC stuff for? I guess she's been planning to join the army right after high school since she was like 12. And I guess she's really going to do it. So I was like, after graduation, I'm just never going to see you again? She said, let's just have fun while we can.
So something attached to the dad's, one of copies of the dad's book. Dear Terrence, thank you for sending along a copy of your newly published book. An author's first published manuscript is a momentous occasion. I read it this afternoon. I certainly recognize my son in the subject matter. An author's work is the externalization of that which he holds dear and which he fears, and in this respect, I believe your work was successful. But the lens through which the personal shown was needlessly clouded by genre cliches and implausible, demistor science-fictional de ex machina. The great authors speak of their life's milieu in clear and honest tones, the lens of crystal that refracts their thoughts without distortion. I congratulate you on surviving the great ordeal that is publication, and rest assured that readers of your chosen genre will lap up copies hungrily, but I urge you to shed artifice. You can do better. With a father's love and encouragement, Richard Greenbrier. They got matching heart pendants. Mom's citizenship stuff. Hey Sam, I'm writing to you from Multnomah Falls. I'm here on a stupid class trip, which is stupid because it's March and I don't know if anyone running the school has been to Oregon, but it's cold and rainy as shit in March. Wish you were here. Oh, wait, you are here because I'm writing this to you in the gift shop. Oh shit, here you are.
They tell you to stick with the group on field trips, Katie. There's a reason for that. Lonnie and I snuck off on the side paths at Multnomah Falls and got a little lost. Okay, a lot lost. Like, for hours. Right before the bus left, we found a trail and came running down the path, soaked and covered in mud, shouting for the bus not to leave. The school called home. Mom and Dad said, you didn't get into trouble like this before you met that Lonnie girl. But I don't think they know about us. The kids at school, though, I'm really afraid that's a whole other story. Stick with the group, Katie. Stick with the group.
The Psycho House girl. The coolest stuff about being the Psycho House girl. Cool thing number one. Everybody in the hall thinking you don't know they're looking at you and whispering as you walk past because I guess they hadn't heard of peripheral... Costumes, skeletons, and devils. Cheerleaders from the Smells Like Teen Spirit video. One girl dressed as Jackie Kennedy. That's a lie to mom and dad situation, but it was so worth it. The girls on stage were just so loud and real and awesome, and everybody was moving together like one huge tide of sound. Goodfellow Senior High School. Dear Miss Greenbrier, I appreciate the time and effort you put into writing your letter. It showed initiative and was well written, but it does not change my mind on this matter. While I understand that Miss DeSoto is a friend of yours, the fact of the matter is that she defaced school property with profanity. The fact that she allegedly defaced her own locker in retaliation for another student doing the same to yours is immaterial. As to your complaint that no other student has been punished for their part in this incident, the fact is that no guilty party has come forward and there has been no convincing evidence as to who might have defaced your locker. In other words, there is no one to punish. I would suggest letting this issue drop, as it will only bring more unwanted attention on yourself, which I believe is what you claim began this whole incident in the first place.
I don't get Lonnie sometimes. Like, her band, and our zine, and her hair, and everything are all anti-authority. But I watch her in JROTC, and she's doing drills in perfect formation, following orders, no question. And there's all this stuff in the news about don't ask, don't tell. Like, she's going to join the army and then have to lie about who she is. She said they don't need to know what they don't need to know. Like it was no big deal. This from the girl who trashed her locker to, like, defend my honor. I've learned when to stop arguing, though. I don't think Lonnie even gets Lonnie sometimes.
Aha. Oh wait, no, I've been here. I think. Maybe? Okay, have not been here. Salon Josephine, a bunch of stuff. $119, almost $120. Manicure, perm, color, shampoo set. Offer of promotion. Dear Head Conservationist Greenbrier, due to your exemplary management of the Flintlock, blah, 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 offer you a promotion to Regional Conservation Management Director responsible for operations throughout Northwestern Oregon. Your assistance would be sought, blah, 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 which would be much more convenient for your daily commute. Please respond as soon as possible. Hey, Lonnie, sorry my mom is such a bitch last night. She's hardly ever around since her forest is like an hour away, and then when she is home, she takes it out on you, like because you're not a member of the family. She knows you won't call her on it, and I'm sorry. It's okay. I know she's just jealous of our cool and freewheeling lifestyles. I feel sorry for you. I'm lucky my mom lives in Florida. You have to have a mom every day. You have to have a mom every day. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring up the mom thing like that. I know I shouldn't complain. No, I'm being serious. My mom is a psycho-Christian, and her new husband, Don, in quotes, is a complete tool. Living in Florida with him is her eternal punishment in my mind. So you wouldn't rather live with your mom in Florida? No.
Todd's band lost their singer. Todd said he sucked. Lonnie said he got sick of Todd's shit, and he was complaining about needing a new singer. So Lonnie was like, I can sing. And they were all kind of like, you can? And she was like, probably. But she's been rehearsing with them for like a week now. And I finally got to see them play in Todd's basement today. And she's actually really amazing. I feel so proud when she's on stage. It's incredible being in awe of someone you love. So everybody knows it's like a temporary situation till she ships out in June. But till then, I'm gonna be at every single show.
This skull was the coolest thing I found in Mexico, and it was like $3. I love it. Merry Christmas. Miss you. A second mom's purse. Hi Jan, I got 2 tickets for EWF on Thursday, but my girlfriend says she doesn't want to, so her taste in music rears its ugly head again. So that leaves me with an extra ticket that I thought you might be interested in. More fun than clearing brush in the freezing rain, right? Rick. So she's marking this guy as like 5 out of 5 on every single thing, recommending that he stay and be promoted, then going into a salon and getting all touched up, and then she's going to a concert with this guy. Disciplinary referral for Samantha. Distributing inappropriate materials. Presumably this. Sam, since you refused to hear us out this afternoon, your mother and I are putting this in writing so that we are absolutely clear. You are grounded for the rest of the month from social and telephone privileges and from using your car for anything except going to and from school. We understand what you are going through, but we can't allow you to continue with this kind of behavior at school. And clearly, once your privileges are reinstated, we can't allow you to have your bedroom door closed while Lonnie is at the house. This is the last word on the matter. Get back on course so this won't have to happen again.
I had an interesting talk with Mom and Dad tonight. One you were never gonna need to have. I mean, you've known, right? I've known. I've known since, like, She-Ra. Mom and Dad didn't, I guess. But they saw the zine and the stuff on the locker, and they were like, is there something we should know about you and Lonnie? And so here's the thing. I was prepared for them to be mad, or disappointed or start crying or something, but they were just in denial. You're too young to know what you want. You and Lonnie are just good friends. You just haven't met the right boy. It's a phase. That's what I didn't see coming. That they wouldn't even respect me enough to believe me. Well, joke's on them, because they're in for one very long phase.
Hi, Mom, Dad, and Sam. The Vatican is weird. As you can see, the Catholic Church still has a lot of money left over from the Middle Ages. I've gotten to see all the blah, 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 blah. Love to be here with everyone. Next stop, Barcelona. All right. Sam's schedule working at Crown Burger on Bethel Road. Samantha and Daniel were in the woods one day. It was sunny and they were on an adventure, but they went to the bad part of the woods and it got dark. Daniel said, "Are you scared too?" So Samantha said, "Are you?" They went more into the bad part and then they went to a new part that was never there before, and there was a ship, a pirate ship. On an occasion, Samantha said, "I'll be the captain and you be the first mate." Daniel said, "I'm the captain," and they went on the pirate ship and started sailing away.
Daniel finally came over to get his game. I'd been dreading it. But he brought this story with him that I wrote when we were little. I started reading it, and then there I was, crying at the kitchen table. He asked what was wrong, and I was thinking about how we used to be friends, how much I'd taken for granted. But instead, I told him about school, and Dad, and Lonnie. And then how sorry I was that I wasn't his friend anymore. He gave me a hug and said it was going to be okay. And for some reason, I almost believed him.
Congratulations on your new position. Having received your formal acceptance letter, I write to congratulate you on your new position as regional. Yeah, okay, so she got promoted. Anniversary trip. 5th through the 7th. What day is it today currently? So they could just be on their anniversary trip right now. Dear Mr. Greenbrier, first let me say that I hope this missive finds you well. Hell, it feels like a goddamn miracle that it finds you at all. Do you know how long we've been trying to track you down? Worry not, we aren't the feds, the men in black, or any other sort of creeping fascist hobgoblins. In fact, we're on your side. Let me start from the beginning. Unknown Dimension is what you might call a specialist publishing house. We traffic in the weird, the ahead of its time, the lost but not forgotten by a small but dedicated group of plugged-in bibliophile type of out there, mass market shunning visionary expression that refuses to be taken on anything but its own terms. We've had an unparalleled run since our inception 4 years ago, unearthing and reviving Christ, or Zombie, like timeless works such as N.N. Bestman's Message of the Snake Men, It's Inside Me by Jens Keller, and Emil Krieger's oft-banned Venusian Flesh Traders. But ever since we discovered tattered copies of your Accidental series at a church rummage sale in Long Branch, New Jersey, we've been trying to track down the author of this weird and dark American outsider art. It's just the kind of forgotten portal into 20th century civilizations and anxieties and delusions that our readers lose their minds over. James Bond and Harrison Ford might be the dick-swinging heroes that modern suburban America wants, but John Russell, mild-mannered insurance agent by day, reckless history revising sociopath by night, is the twisted peacekeeper that it deserves. It is our mission to bring him back to life. Okay, so I've typed plenty. What do we want from you? We want your permission to reprint the work since your original publisher, Mercury Books, folded a decade ago. We want you to supply a new forward for the book to appear in brand new editions of The Accidental Savior and The Accidental Pariah, to be produced by Unknown Dimension as a limited run and marketed directly to our highly discerning customer base. And we want to offer you a portion of the proceeds, contract to follow, assuming you're interested in coming along with us on this weird odyssey. We look forward to embarking with you, and we trust and to thrusting your work screaming back into the sweating palms of an unsuspecting American public. It's about time. Blast off. So, considering the drunken state of the typewriter, this must be very recent. Sam, your mother and I will be away for a long weekend celebrating our anniversary. Okay, yeah, we will be camping in the gorge, but we will give you a call on the way home. Sorry, the kitchen is still mid-renovation. Never trust a contractor. $40 is on the table to order pizza while we're gone. Be good, Dad. Well, I think that wraps things up. I just need to find where that safe combination is. Oh no, we got one more room. No, a bunch more rooms. Sam, I wish I knew how to explain it better. The army is this thing I grew up with. It's part of me. My dad's army friends are like family. I've always known it was where I'd end up. If I'd never thought of it any other way. I wish it would have been different. Maybe someday when I'm settled at a base and you're done with college and you're a famous writer and I can rebuild a tank engine with my eyes closed, things will be different and we can be together. Until then... a greenhouse. The Accidental Human Manuscript. Strong Pines, a couple's counseling retreat. So that's where they are. Dear Kaz, I can't tell you what a joy it is to see John Russell back in print. Thank you very much for sending along copies of the new editions. The cover art is really something. I know you've said that Unknown Dimension isn't in the business of printing new material, but this revived interest in my work has brought on a wave of inspiration, resulting in a manuscript that completes John Russell's journey, which I think you may find intriguing. It is reflective and introspective without forgetting the excitement and weirdness that Unknown Dimension readers expect. I hope this might be an exciting new direction for Unknown Dimension to pursue. At the very least, I'm grateful that John Russell's adventures didn't come to an end quite when I thought they had. Cover copy. It's been almost 20 years since John Russell heard the call. Twice he saved a president's life. He's practically forgotten the days of the future, of danger and excitement. The days where he mattered. So when that familiar rip in time opens in front of him and his handlers peer out, he doesn't hesitate. Is the president in danger? No. The life you save this time will be your own. Where will do it? Midnight, June 5th. Final preparations are complete. Secret door in the foyer under the stairs.
We agreed our last night together would be our happiest ever, and we'd forget tomorrow was going to come at all. It worked for a while. We had a good time seeing Oscar off, then ran up to the attic to look through our photos, to find one for Lonnie to take with her. And looking at them, I realized they were all in the past, and there wouldn't be any more. And I didn't know what I was going to do. And I cried, and she held me. She said she knew it was hard, but life would move on. I said I didn't want my life to keep moving without her. That's when she cried too. I was so exhausted. I must have fallen asleep like that, in her arms. In the morning, I woke up, and I was finally alone.
Take the attic key.
The sunset light in this house is the saddest thing I've ever seen. I just want to sleep. When I'm in the attic, it almost feels like Lonnie could still be here. She's just downstairs. I'm just waiting to hear her pull down the hatch and come running up. Maybe I'll go up to the attic and wait.
Alright, let's go find the safe combination. Is there a year or something? Terry's various ages. It's a 4-digit combination, right? So it could be 1960 or 1963 or 1957. There it is. Hydrogen peroxide. Aquatol. Solution of morphine. So it's a bunch of medical supplies and a note. Alright, to the attic. Sam, I'll always remember what we had. Stay strong, kick ass. I love you, Lonnie.
Oh my god. Katie. I fell asleep in the attic, in Lonnie and my old spot, and I missed the first 2 calls. I just barely caught the third one before the machine got it. And it was Lonnie, on a payphone. She'd been on the bus to Basic, and she said she couldn't think of anything but me and us, and that she couldn't go through with it, with the army and being a part and all of it. And so she got off the bus in Salem. She said, "Sam, I want you to pack up everything you can and get in your car and come find me. And let's just drive until we find somewhere for us." And she asked me if I could do that. And I said yes. Yes.
Strikes me as a The Graduate type situation where you're running away with your love but don't have an actual plan. Letters to Katie. Do not read if you're not Katie.
Katie, I'm so sorry that I can't be there to see you in person, that I can't tell you all this myself. But I hope as you read this journal and you think back, that you'll understand why I had to do what I did. And that you won't be sad, and you won't hate me, and you'll just know that I am where I need to be. I love you so much, Katie. I'll see you again. Someday. Love, Sam.
Well, that was Gone Home. Hope you enjoyed it.